All right, welcome everybody to this awesome new show. How's everybody doing this weekend? Looks like we're good to go. All right. So, hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Welcome everyone to my virtual castle. Like what I've done with the place? In fact, my own home feels just like living in a fascinating Disney castle, like the one you see right here. Don't believe me? Well, that's my reality. It's not being delusional, it's my reality. So, guess what? You can feel the same way too. Guaranteed. Even if it's the smallest apartment studio that you live in. Today's show is all about making your dreams, as unique as they are, come true. That's not cliche. That's a promise. If you follow everything I say to the letter. So, why this topic? To create your life, make it into a fairy tale, create your own life, your own reality. Because recently I ran into a couple of comments that got me thinking, oh, here we go. Have to do a show about this one, don't I? So yes, coming from left field, but let's go ahead and go over it, shall we? Straight to the point, here we go. Alright, so here we go. Yes, I received recently this comment, which further proves everything I preach in my book, video course, and channel, as I'll go over. Here's the comment. This is why I don't... Well, let's go ahead and read it first. I appreciate the sentiment behind your comments. Believe me, there are plenty of videos scolding men and holding them to account, even blaming them for all society's ills. Yeah, I get it. However, there are very few videos holding women to account for anything. No, there's actually a ton of them. There's men complaining and women complaining, but there's far more men complaining. That's where I have a problem. Women are put on a pedestal and praised in most situations. Well, both a man and woman should be placed on a pedestal. It's mutual. That's the problem. Only in the last few years has there been red pill videos exposing the truths here. For example, women innately do not respect men who simp for them, chase them excessively, as it makes the men look desperate and low value. Look, I understand the whole simping argument, but that's weak sauce, okay? I mean, I understand what simping is, but that's rushing a relationship is what simping is. As soon as a girl comes up to you or a woman comes up to you and says, to the men, because this is a man complaining, oh, I want to be with you, let's sleep with each other, just taking things too fast, and guess what? The simp is going to say yes to everything and rush into a toxic relationship or a relationship that doesn't fit well, but they're not being attentive to all the red flags. And they probably don't even know what they're looking for. They don't know themselves. Know thyself. So that covers that. Let's go ahead and proceed. As simple as that may be for most to see, I never saw it until age 40. Well, I saw it I saw it at 22 years old, so I don't know why it took this guy so long, but to each their own, right? 20 years later, right? When my now ex-wife divorced me. That's an unfortunate situation. See, he thought he was in the correct relationship, and this just proves my point that you can be in a relationship. Time does not secure your relationship. You can be in a long-term relationship and suddenly things go south because you ignored things that were red flags, or they went south because you allowed the love to dwindle, or she allowed the love to dwindle, or you both did. There's always a cause to the effect. So instead of pointing fingers, you have to accept defeat and move on. You can't turn into a bitter person pointing the finger at all the women out there. No, just yours. There are similar experiences, but in this case, just yours. Own up to your responsibilities, right? And this is not just me, but so many blind men. Well, not necessarily blind. It happened out of nowhere, right? But perhaps you ignored the red flags. Or maybe you took a risky relationship. Men eventually come to see what is innate female behavior. See, here we go, the gender war. He's going to start pointing the finger at females, all females. Everybody's to blame, not just one female. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens to other people, okay? It's your relationship that counts. Almost 80% of divorces, here we go with statistics. I don't trust any statistics out there. I don't trust any of them. I mean, that's just taking a pool of this and that. There could be money involved, agendas, you name it. Divorce rates are filed by females. It doesn't matter who files for the divorce. It's a failed relationship. Who cares? And you chose that female. You chose to be with that female who turned toxic, or the relationship simply failed and you want to point the finger at the female. It takes two to tango. Forever. Not just one day. Men and women cheat. A despicable act. No, not every man or woman cheats. You see, that's a blanket statement. It is a despicable act. It's a dishonorable act. He doesn't need to be clear here, but at the same rate, and domestic violence is also about equal. I mean, who needs to talk about domestic violence? That's the case whether in a marriage, a relationship, or just a family situation. I mean, I've experienced domestic violence with my blood family. That has nothing to do with relationships, so that's irrelevant. So, not the reason for the difference in divorce rates between men and women. It doesn't matter what the divorce rates are. I mean, you can have 100% divorce rate. I mean, see, the statistic is ridiculous. There's always going to be successful relationships like mine, for example. I'm not the only one. There's other people out there who found their perfect soulmate. Well, they had to develop their relationship to become perfect soulmates. But they found their potential partner. First, they established a solid friendship, and then they started taking it more seriously, and they succeeded. So, I'm not the only one. I'm not claiming to be the only successful person to have developed a perfect soulmate relationship. Now, am I part of the few? Certainly sounds like it, with so many men tossing in the towel. That's all you guys have? That's all the fuel in the tank? That's it? You're just going to toss in the tank? I mean... That's why the fictional stories like not Rambo, but Rocky were created, right? Doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down as long as you get back up. I don't know. I mean, that's not really fiction to me. It sounds like real life. I mean, if you fail, get back up again. Otherwise, you're letting yourself down. This is what the whole point of this is. To not let yourself down and to accept defeat. In fact, even in the U.S. Army, we have to chant, never accept defeat. I will never quit. It's the soldier's creed. How come the army has it, but you don't have it as a regular civilian? It makes absolutely no sense. What you're shouting here is, I've accepted defeat. I'm going to blame the opposite sex. I don't care about my future happiness because it's not possible because I say it's impossible. That's what you're saying here. A very negative creed. That means women get bored. They feel entitled from toxic social media. It's not social media's fault. Social media is a tool, just like pornography. Just like the news. Now, if you experience a lot of negativity in those connections, those inputs, if you will, of information or activity, then simply avoid them, right? There's going to be toxicity everywhere you turn in this life, whether online or offline. So why pay it any attention? Just like the statistics. I don't watch the news because it's mostly negative. I don't need to hear bad news unless it's an emergency situation. I'll pay attention. And social media, it's a circus everywhere you go. But I focus on the good ones, right? Like my channel. This is a good channel. There's no toxicity about it. There's no toxic behavior here. So, sometimes I have to show a bit of tough love, but it's not toxic. It's the people who try to give me negative messages that are toxic, and I simply respond to them accordingly. Feminism. No, that's not feminism. It's feminist extremists that you're describing, not feminism. There's nothing wrong with feminism. Regular vanilla feminism. I mean, they earned their rights a long time ago. You know? But feminist extremists is what you're referring to, the toxic ones. And unfortunately, the more attention we give them, the bigger they're going to grow. That's the logic there. To abandon their families doesn't matter. Often they feel they somehow missed out and they start sleeping around. And if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. It doesn't matter what the reason is. So it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Effectively destroy their ability to pair bond down the road scientifically proven. It doesn't matter whether science is involved or not. It's what you choose to believe in. You're 40 years old or 40-ish, and you're choosing to throw in the towel and blame all females of the modern age. That's failure. That's admitting defeat. It doesn't matter if the whole world is falling down around you. What are you going to do about it? You're going to throw in the towel and just admit defeat? I mean, that's weakness. That's a loser's mentality. No offense, because you're losing out on your opportunities that you could have with the winner's mindset. That's what I'm here for. And then he capitalizes these letters because I mentioned soulmates. There is no such thing as finding your soulmate. See, he's grieving right here. He's in pain. Mental and emotional pain. I'm sorry to hear that. But you're going to be in much more pain if you allow yourself to just give up on yourself. And to not go find that special woman out there who's just for you. She's out there. Because the fact that you exist means that she exists. It's really simple logic. There is creating a wonderful, caring relationship where both the man and woman are each other's soulmates. So you do believe in soulmates. You don't find a soulmate, you find a potential future soulmate. So of course you don't find a soulmate right off the bat. I understand what you're saying. But you do believe that soulmates exist because you just said so. You just said it right there. All right. So, but man won't get to that point simping. See, here we go with the simping thing. Who cares how many men out there are simping? What simping means is just rushing into a relationship, an unstable relationship. That's all it means. The first woman that says, hey, I want to sleep with you, I want to be with you. These are guys who don't know what they want. They have no wisdom or intelligence, and they're everywhere. It's rampant. It's just as much as the guy's fault as it is the girl's fault. Understand? So the whole simping argument is out the window. It's out the door. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, like I said, if you go to a school or a college or take any test, exam, who cares if everybody around you failed the exam? How did you do on your exam? You can blame the teacher. You can blame the noise out the window when you were taking the test. I mean, but those are excuses, right? Maybe something valid comes up, but we're not going to go over every single case scenario. What matters is stop caring about how others are failing around you. Start caring about your own life, because success is always possible. Always possible. I mean, even in a forest, if all the trees got struck by lightning and they're all dead, but that one tree is there standing, you think that tree's going to be like, you know what, let me just self-destruct because all the trees got struck by lightning. Makes absolutely no sense. Humans are naturally supposed to preserve their life. That also includes their own happiness, their future happiness. You can't quit on yourself, people. You can't quit on yourself. You can't give up. Because that's what anybody can do. Anybody can just self-destruct and just admit defeat and say, oh, it's the world's fault. It's the women's fault. That's what I call the gender war. I go over it in my book and my 1-hour video course. Extensively. But straightforward also. Men with standards who call out truths and basic human realities fare far better than those who don't. Yeah, and what are you doing here? You're lowering your own standards by admitting defeat. Nothing here says, yeah, I suffered a divorce and you know what, but I'm still going to try to look. So yeah, I'll take you up on that. I'm going to check out your channel. I'm going to check out to see what you have to say. I'm optimistic. No, you're just going to point the finger. Because here, look at the last part here. So your comments seem to miss all these basic truths. I didn't even mention anything. I just got to know this guy. One simple comment. And he's already assuming that I don't know basic truths. That's crazy. He has no idea he's speaking to a relationships coach. Again, I appreciate the Disney romance, which brings us to this stream. The Disney romance-esque, so romance-like sentiment, but it simply is not reality. I'm going to tell you what reality could be for you, because it's a sad reality what you have right now. Just pointing the finger. It doesn't have to be about relationships, by the way. Maybe you lost in a Call of Duty game, because a lot of people love to play Call of Duty. What do? Are you going to jump into the next game, or are you going to put the controller down and throw away your PlayStation into the garbage bin? Honestly, answer the question, right? Who does that? Who loses in a game or a poker game? You lost some money, right? I'm pretty sure that the majority of people, they put their chips back in, they pick up that controller and play again. As many games as it takes in order to be the one winner out of the 100, right? So how come you have that much dedication in a simple video game or in a poker match or a sports game or fixing your car? You know, you just got to get it done, right? And you never give up. But here you're giving up on yourself just because it involves relationships. How can this be, people? I've seen people put so much effort into so many things except for their relationship. And for some strange reason, their relationships are expendable. They don't matter nowhere near as much as everything else. When you're hungry, you're going to make yourself something to eat or go buy something to eat, right? You're going to go to the grocery store. When you have to go to the bathroom, you're going to go to the bathroom or take a shower. You don't think twice about it. What are you going to do one day? You know what? I can't stand taking showers anymore. I'm just going to never take a shower again. That's what you're saying here. It makes absolutely no sense. And this is what's happening tragically with so many men out there. They're just giving up on themselves. It has nothing to do with the feminist extremists over men failing in their relationships. You're the one that matters here. Be the exception, right? That's my advice. I mean, it's really sad, you know. This is why I don't call toxic males and toxic females real men or women. Only toxic males and females cheat, the toxic ones. Not real men, not real women. Soulmates do in fact exist, but such a maximum relationship must be developed, okay? So let's move on to his second comment that just got in agreement, and it's, I'm not going to show you my responses because they're pretty much everything I preach on this channel. You should already be familiar with it. In agreement, and it's great to hear that you have a wonderful woman and success in a long-standing loving relationship. He's asking if I'm married. No, we don't believe in marriage. I mean, think about it. That's why I always prove to the world that you don't need to be married in order to be truly in love and soulmates. That's what we're maintaining. It's incredible. You know, the more we think about marriage, it's just ridiculous. It's just a ceremony. We've held our vows since the very beginning and to this day. A lot of vows. But for men to get to that point in 2024, it doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Everybody has an opportunity to succeed. A real equal opportunity. To each their own in their own unique way, their own success. Requires they learn to hold standards and screen for red flags. Okay, so why not continue to do that? You just said that it's women's fault, right? Why not continue to screen for red flags for the next candidate in line? And hopefully you'll choose better this time and know exactly what to avoid this time. Unfortunately, reality, I mean, you got to be careful with that word reality. Reality is what you create for yourself, not other people's reality. That's not your reality. Other people's failures. Your reality should be a one of success, a positive mindset. That's the problem here. Requires men to develop to better develop safeguards in order to find that perfect woman for him these days. That's exactly what you have to do. Nothing has changed, people. People can get more and more toxic with every decade or every century that passes, but that doesn't change the equation. You will always need to screen people and to search for those red flags from the very beginning. In the beginning of the relationship, during the relationship, and I mean, that's it. There shouldn't be after unless it failed. Then yes, you need to repeat the process. It's just like cooking. There's a process to make certain recipes. The recipe of true love is never going to change. Start all over again. Sorry that it feels so painful, but that's your only option if you want to succeed. It doesn't sound like you want it too much if you're just going to admit defeat and point fingers, right? Because the pool of candidates has gone downhill. It's like the economy. It's always going to be bad. It's just something that's extraordinarily difficult to resolve on a larger scale. It doesn't matter. There's fantastic women out there. I mean, brilliant ones that you're not paying attention to, that you haven't met yet. They're out there. And the perfect one is waiting for you. But with this mindset right here, you're not going to find her. And you're not going to be able to have the strength when you finally meet her. You're going to be too exhausted, and you're going to bring, you know what you're going to bring to the table if you finally run into her? this negative, self-defeatist loser's mindset. And she's not going to be interested in you. Imagine that. You're the perfect woman of your dreams. You finally meet her, your potential soulmate, and you lack the energy to even go through with it because you've trained yourself to be so negative. And that weakens you. That weakens you mentally, physically, and emotionally. We don't need... So you're actually promoting the weakening of men by speaking this way. You're training yourself. You're manifesting negative outcomes. It doesn't matter what happens with other people. Look what's happening to you. This is all negative. And then remain a healthy masculine presence in that relationship. So yes, red pill, enough with the pills. Who's talking about... I've heard it all from the MGTOW community. All these losers. Red pill, blue pill, purple pill, black pill. There's no pills, people. That's a fairy tale. That's fiction. These pills don't exist. You need to stop talking about pills to represent certain phases of understanding or aggression, and just get your act together. Fix yourself. Get back in the game, right? Because it's a game in the beginning, trying to match yourself with the perfect candidate. But later on, as you fall into real love, true love, which doesn't sound like it happened in your first marriage. You didn't even mention it. You never mentioned we were really in love and things were going great, and you didn't even say what happened. So I highly doubt it was true love. Because if it was true love, that relationship would have never failed. But given all the attacks on men, it doesn't matter who's getting attacked out there. What matters is you. You're the only guy we're talking about, my goodness. And masculinity in our world today. Nothing's being attacked, people. You let it attack you in your mind and your emotions. So if you think that the world's falling down around you, guess what? That's your reality because you're the one creating it. Men need to learn certain skill sets, and why not you? That applies to you too, right? Now more than ever. And cannot simply pedestalize women any longer. Maybe you and I are opposing the yin and yang. No, we're not opposing. This is not a complex dynamic. Look, one doesn't need to be married in order to love their partner with all their heart and soul. Okay? There's nothing extraordinarily complex about learning what true love is and how to develop and maintain it. So I like to present this problem because this is exactly what's wrong with the world today. All these negative emotions and negative thoughts, instead of just picking up your pieces, putting them back together, and starting again from square one. Right? I mean, if we can repair windows and all these other, materialistic items with super glue and, paste and whatever it is, epoxy, then how come you can't repair yourself? And that's why I made videos about how to cure a broken heart, which I highly advise you watch. So, but as a relationships coach, it's my mission to teach everyone how true love works and what's required to attain a perfect soulmates relationship. That's why I invested almost 1,000 total hours in my 100 plus streams, my book, and my 1 hour video course. Did I just, throw in the towel and say, no, I don't think that's possible? No. No. I'm here being productive and constructive and useful. Not acting like a failure. So no offense to the guy who made those comments. I just really hope that this helps him out if he actually watches it and all my other content. Pick yourself back up, man. Get back in there. Love doesn't have to be a battlefield, but if it didn't work out, make it work out in the future, right? All right, let's go ahead and proceed, okay? Let's talk about fairy tales. Now, let's see if they really are fiction. Let's put them to the test, shall we? Let's start with the classic Disney Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's time to prove to everyone that a real-life Disney romance is 100% possible to achieve. In fact, such a romance is precisely what a perfect soulmates relationship is. Let us begin with Disney's Mickey and Minnie Mouse, shall we? Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So let's see, Mickey and Minnie kissed each other on a plane, which anyone in real life can do. Nothing fictional about that. You can also court each other and look like a married couple or even officially get married if you want. Everyone needs their own unique sweetie. Let's go ahead and read this, right? Mickey and Minnie were each other's love interests for the first time they appeared together in the 1929 short film Plane Crazy. Mickey kissed Minnie mid-flight, but she parachuted off the plane after the smooch. That's really cute. In 1929's Mickey's Follies, Mickey referred to Minnie as his girlfriend when he sang that he got a sweetie. She's my little Minnie Mouse. Oh boy! Sounds good, right? Sounds like a happy Mickey and Minnie. What's so fictional about that? Did I miss something? I mean, you're not going to parachute out of the plane, right? Just like martial arts in a movie, I mean, he's going to beat everybody around him, but does that happen in real life? No. Beating up everybody around you in the movies, that's the fictional part, but the moves are real, right? So it's not 100% fictional. See my point? There's always some truth to fictional stories, especially fairy tales. And they're very simple. Over the next few years, Mickey and Minnie relationship confused viewers. Sometimes it seemed like Mickey was still courting Minnie, while other times Minnie and they explain this. It's just I guess the voice actors, who were doing the voices, whatever the case is. So there's nothing fictional there, as far as what I can tell. I mean, Mickey and Minnie, sweetie. So yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and proceed. Let's see who's next in line. Beauty and the Beast. Ah, yes. Let's see what's so fictional about this besides the obvious. When I saw Beauty and the Beast as a child, I saw a cartoon soap opera full of fictional magic and non-fictional relatable situations, because I've been watching soap operas since I was a little kid, like Young and the Restless, Hospital, right? Involving friendship and relationships. Of course, as kids, we were not yet mature to see anything more. Agree? I'm pretty sure everybody's going to agree on that. So, okay, I see a woman with a fictional beast that's supposed to represent a man. So, okay, a little bit of fiction, but it's pretty straightforward, right? It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the story, shall we? So, many people believe that curses are real, black magic, voodoo, damning others. That means cursing others. In fact, the words we speak are literally positive or negative spells. You get it? Which can either lift a person up or tear them down mentally and emotionally. This is precisely why one spells words, either in written or spoken format. People speak alone to the skies above, hoping that something will hear their calls for help in real life. Spells are words. Words are powerful. Got it? Your home is your castle, which is far better than an actual castle, by the way. You have air conditioning, electricity, plumbing, insulation, 1 or 2 automobiles, not horses. No, because they're dangerous, right? Plus, anyone can fall in love and get married, as these fictional fairy tales describe. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis, shall we? Beauty and the Beast is a story of a prince who is cursed. There you go. To become a beast for his selfishness. Their selfishness exists in real life and relationships, unfortunately. And a young woman who is his only chance to break the spell. Right. That's what love does. It fixes things. If you actually achieve it together in perfect synchronicity. The woman named Beauty is taken prisoner by the beast in his castle. See, it's just his home. A guy in his home, right? Let's just translate this. Where she learns to see beyond his appearance and falls in love with him. Maybe he's an unattractive guy, which is actually what this is about. In reality, there's women who fall for what others consider an unattractive guy all the time. And they wonder, why is she with him? He's so unattractive. See, that's reality. It's the same thing. He might not be an actual beast, but he might be, in reality, not attractive to others. But nonetheless, she still falls in love with him, right? What's so fictional about that? Right? So let's go ahead and continue on here. The story has different versions, but usually ends with the curse being lifted and the couple getting married. Wow. Sounds great, right? I mean, Mickey and Minnie are married. I don't see where the fiction is, people. Honestly. So let's go ahead and continue on. The Little Mermaid. One of my favorites. I think I had a crush on Ariel when I was a little kid, younger than 10. I'll admit that. A lot of kids had a crush on Ariel. I mean, it was that hair. It was that red hair. All right. But the love story, it made everybody shy, retreat deep into their seats and hope that the singing would be over because it was really cringe for the boys, including myself. The singing wasn't my forte. It was, the singing in Disney movies is more of a female thing. So let's just put it that way. Not that there's anything wrong with singing. So men need to treat their potential soulmate like a princess. Let's go ahead and start there. And women need to treat their potential soulmate like a prince. Eventually, both will treat each other like a king and queen as the relationship develops. But that takes quality time and daily effort. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what The Little Mermaid was all about. Let's go ahead and see what's so fictional about it. The Little Mermaid is a story about a mermaid princess who makes a Faustian bargain in an attempt to become human and win a prince's love. The story was written about in Disney's animated version, a rebellious 16-year-old, that's pretty young, mermaid, this is a teenage love story, I guess, is fascinated with life on land and falls for a human prince. Ariel's fascination with the human world often leads her to the sea surface, a zone, here's a very important part, that's designated as off limits by her father Triton, the Sea King. All right. Many people don't feel like normal, healthy human beings. So that could represent the mermaid fictional part. They feel like something is missing from their lives. That empty feeling is due to not having true love, which is the most powerful force that life has to offer to those who are ready. Okay? There are plenty of helicopter parents out there, like Triton, who overprotect their children, not allowing them to venture off into the real world and become strongly independent. Ariel's father enslaves her from the real world out of fear and lack of trust. This happens in real life, people. There's nothing fictional about it. This indeed does happen in the real world, such as with my case, when I literally had to escape my controlling, abusive parents and eventually fell in love with my future soulmate. Ariel's story is no different. We all must fight for our own independence. Seems that many people have forgotten that. We all must fight adversity at unexpected moments. We all need to find our perfect soulmate in order to achieve permanent happiness. Eternal love is all about meaning and purpose, becoming one with your partner now and forever. So if that sounds like a fairy tale, an unachievable achievement, then that's where you're going wrong. If you think your life can't be a fairy tale story, you're letting yourself down, as we covered with the initial comment, the comment that started all of this. It's all in the mind, yes, but it's all in your spirit. How much do you actually care about yourself? Do you truly love yourself enough to deserve the best and to say that you deserve the best that life has to offer in your own unique way, in your own unique life? Let's move on to Pocahontas, shall we? There's plenty of drama in Disney fairy tales. The same as in real life, there's drama everywhere, especially in the beginning of a serious long-term relationship, which I call the synchronization process. Just like Pocahontas, we should all learn from our elders if they're wise. I say if because not all elders are intelligent or wise, sadly, especially these days. Many are abusive, cold-hearted, empty-spirited, and insanely ignorant. Such a beautiful Disney film, Pocahontas, that represents a warrior's mindset. A female one, by the way. Similar to Pocahontas, I was saved from an evil, abusive family. It was only then that I learned to fight for my independence and learn what real love felt like. Because I had never felt love before at that time, many years ago. Pocahontas is not a fictional fairy tale. Many of us, like myself, had to fight for our freedom, all in the name of love. Okay? So, let's go ahead and take a look at what Pocahontas is even about. It's an animated musical, historical, well, they're all musical, drama film. Once again, drama is real. Of a woman, Pocahontas, and the arrival of English colonial settlers from Virginia Company. The film romanticizes Pocahontas' encounter with John Smith and her legendary saving of his life. You see? You can save each other's life by being each other's hero. You know, she came into my life at the perfect time, you know, when I needed her the most, when I never knew what love was. And it was like she saved me from my miserable existence. That happens vice versa. Sometimes it's the guy who comes into her life, or you guys are each other's hero. That's not a fairy tale, people. That's reality. I'm telling you that I've lived it myself. It tells the story of a free-spirited girl who relies on the guidance of her loving and wise grandmother, Willow. Oh, Willow, that's interesting. When English settlers arrived on the shore of their village, Pocahontas falls in love. Wow, there you go. They all have to deal with love, don't they? Kind of giving you a hint about life, isn't it? It's not just a movie. With an English soldier as colonists invade 17th century Virginia. Okay, that's all kind of irrelevant. Let's go ahead and move on. But I mean, you kind of get the point right there as well. It's all about love in the end. Anyone who says otherwise is not paying attention. There's no wisdom or intelligence. You just missed the whole point. If you think it's just a lousy cartoon or an old nostalgic whatever, nothing to learn from, that's horrible on so many levels. Nothing to offer the world. You didn't learn anything, if that's the case. Cinderella is the next one in line. Let's see how much fiction is involved with Cinderella, shall we? Here's a very true story involving evil stepsisters, which could represent real-world family members, such as what happened in my case, once again, before declaring my independence from an abusive family. Living with an evil family literally feels like slavery. It does. In fact, here's an interesting little fun fact. The novela, which is Spanish for soap opera, that was playing during the time of my independence, declaring it, was called Prisionera, which literally translates to prisoner. How ironic is that? What a coincidence. And once again, there is nothing fictional about a woman who wants to escape a horrendous reality to find her one and only perfect soulmate, as the case of Cinderella, and so many others. So she can live happily ever after. What's so wrong about that? What's so fictional about that? Please explain in great detail. All these supposed fairy tales with achieving true love. They all end with achieving true love. Can you imagine that? And yet this is the whole simping and red pill and feminism, extremist and feminist extremists and all these problems. That's what it all boils down to, people. They're scared. And they haven't learned anything in life. No wisdom, no intelligence, and they're scared to actually pursue happiness, right? You have the right to pursue happiness. Where do you think that comes from? Money? Stability? No, that's a means of survival. Even if governments didn't exist, you're going to be tossed into the forest and expected to survive on your own. You're on your own. That's absolute freedom. People are going to fear that. They're going to be like, oh no, where's my house? Where's my car? Where's the gasoline station? Where's the grocery store? We've all been domesticated, so you have no idea what absolute freedom feels like unless you live off the grid somewhere and are doing your own thing, like hunting and whatever it is. You got to build your own home, yada yada, your log cabin, etc. But we're talking about relationships here. The pursuit of happiness, if you haven't figured it out by now, is only created between two people who love each other with all their heart and soul. That's it. That's the key to happiness. I just had a stream about that and what it requires in my latest stream. Top 5 tips, right? So they all end with true love. That's the equation that's similar to all of these. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to Snow White. Let's go ahead and see how much is fictional about Snow White, shall we? I mean, my goodness, another evil family member. See the trend here? An evil stepmother that actually orders the murder, this one's more extreme, of her innocent stepdaughter. In real life, there are mothers who toss their babies into dumpsters, okay? I hate to say it, but, that's reality. Luckily, this fairy tale has a happy ending. But just because this fairy tale has a happy ending doesn't mean that things like this don't happen in real life, as I just mentioned. There are things that are far worse. So, to say that all fairy tales are 100% fiction is absolutely incorrect, as I mentioned before. In the end, every human needs true love in order to be completely happy. So let's go ahead and take a look at Snow White. The story follows a beautiful and kind-hearted Princess Snow White who charms every creature in the kingdom except her jealous stepmother, the queen. It's not the rank, it's the person that fulfills that rank, right? King or queen. You want to be a king that's loved or a queen that's loved or hated or feared? I always go with the love, right? Because you avoid situations like this where you're trying to kill your stepdaughter because you're evil and because you don't believe in true love and you never found it, developed it, nothing. When the magic mirror proclaims Snow White is the fairest one of all. See? Evil always attacks kindness. So you're always going to have your haters when you're trying to do something like what I'm doing on a mission to help restore our world, to improve our world in the name of love, in the realm of love. You're always going to have those who are going to be like, oh, this guy. And guess what? Ignorance is bliss, right? So let's go ahead and proceed. She must flee into the forest, where she befriends the lovable 7 dwarfs. Okay, so she meets some friends. Sometimes your friends could be better than your original family, like in this case and in my case. You know, the friends that I've met outside of my abusive family, they're my new family. These friends have given me everything so I can succeed. If it wasn't for them, I would not be here today. I'm not to mean alive or dead. I'm saying right here doing what I'm doing. So just think about that. Because a lot of people say family is everything. Nope. They're wrong. Because it's not in everybody's case. Just like not everybody's living a perfect fantasy fairy tale. Like they should be. It's not always the case. It's my case. And I hope it's going to be your case one day. But in order for that to happen, you have to believe in yourself. You can listen to me, but it's you that you have to believe in yourself. So, okay. So, the wicked queen orders the murder of her innocent stepdaughter, but later discovers that Snow White is still alive and hiding in a cottage with 7 friendly little miners. And that's, of course, going to make the queen upset, right? So, just like when my mother found out that friends were helping me escape that abusive family, they didn't like that. Because they're narcissists. Abusive, controlling, manipulative narcissists. And they wanted me back home so that they can continue to abuse me. And I said, no, never again. And my friends helped me get there. What are friends for? Sometimes they're more powerful than your family members could ever dream to be. But guess what? In the case of an abusive family, they're not dreaming that. They just only seek to do you more harm. Let's go ahead and move on, shall we? So, this is the last fairy tale in line. Sleeping Beauty. Similar to Snow White, right? Yet another story involving a woman who needs true love in order to wake up. In order to be revived, just like in the end of Snow White. In fact, Disney is trying desperately here to tell humanity that love is the ultimate answer to even the worst situation. Think about it. Right? A kiss. A kiss is everything. Even when the toad becomes a prince. What are they trying to tell you? Love is the answer, right? Okay. There's always an element of evil in these fairy tales, by the way. I have to mention that. The same applies to real life, where we must fight for what we believe in. We must fight to make our dreams come true. But none of it truly matters without our perfect soulmate by our side. You can do all the fighting you want in this life, but if you don't end up like these fairy tales with love, a happy ending, because that's the only real happy ending there is. It's not if you become a millionaire. You'll be satisfied for a while, but guess what? If you become rich, you're going to get sick of money so fast. After all the clubs you go to, all the expensive materialistic items you buy, all the cars, all the houses, it's going to get exhausting, boring, repetitive. You know how many miserable rich people there are out there, millionaires and billionaires? People have no idea, but there they are chasing the riches. I mean, if I wanted to chase the rich, I'd sell my book for $50 at least. It should be $100 for crying out loud. And my 1-hour video course for like $200. That's not my goal, people. I'm trying to spread my message, which is a beautiful message in multiple formats for everybody to benefit from for what? $10 each. That's ridiculous. So think about it. Rich people, that doesn't equate to happiness. It's satisfaction. It's economic security. Monetary security, but that's it. That's not the equation, people. And neither is having orgies with a bunch of strangers. That's not happiness, people. Trust me, you will get sick of that. It's just so repetitive and senseless because you have no meaning or purpose. So let's go ahead and analyze what Sleeping Beauty is all about. All right, here we go. Filled with jealousy. You're not going to tell me that jealousy doesn't exist in the in the real life. So, yes, it does. Okay, let's go ahead and start right there. The evil witch Maleficent curses Prince. Here's another curse. Curses Prince Aurora to die on her 16th birthday. There's that young age of 16, like Little Mermaid. Isn't that strange? Thanks to Aurora's guardian fairies, she only falls into a deep sleep, similar to Snow White, that can be ended with a kiss, similar to Snow White, by her betrothed Prince Philip, similar to Snow White. So it's always love that's the answer. What's so fairy tale about that? It's sad because people don't want it to be the reality. They fear it. That's why they want to choose to live alone. They're like, I fear a potential failed relationship. Why don't you fill your glass half full and then eventually have a full glass of positive thoughts and positive emotion? Why don't you train yourself to be at the top instead of fearing falling to the bottom? Because that's the only way you're going to succeed. How does an Olympic athlete achieve the gold medal? They don't achieve it with the negative mindset and negative emotions. I can tell you that much. And they have a coach to train them to become winners. I'm here to coach you, to get your mind straight, to get your heart straight. So take it or leave it. But in the end, it's up to you to believe in yourself or not. It's a sad part because it's easy to let yourself down and to whine and complain and to say, oh, it's this person's fault. It's the world's fault. It's women's or men's fault. Anybody can do that. That doesn't mean a thing. All you're doing is defeating yourself before even trying again. No. You know, perfect practice makes perfect. So if you don't even practice, then you'll never reach perfection. You'll never be happy in this life. And everything's going to be all bitter for you. You're going to just ignore anything positive, anything to do with love, and say, bah humbug. Who does that sound like? Scrooge, right? Do you want to live life as Scrooge? I don't recommend that. Don't be a Scrooge in this life. Male and female Scrooges. So, the choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. Either take the easy, depressing way out, the loser's mentality, by doing nothing in the realm of love and simply let your happiness fall to the depths of oblivion, or stand up for yourself with a winner's strength mindset. A strong winner's mindset. So, if your confidence is low, or you're not sure where to begin, be sure to read my book and watch my 1-hour video course. And also watch every single one of my 100 streams, nicely organized in 10 highly educational series, or, I don't know, about 40 videos by now, regular videos. So I'm going to go ahead and check the chat for any sign of intelligent life out there before I go ahead and hang it up. And I think we are good to go. Yes, we are good to go. All right, makes my job that much easier, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and look forward to the next show. And wishing all of you wisdom and intelligence to find that potential soulmate and to, if you're already involved in a relationship, to take it to the maximum level. I'm here to help, but help me help you. All right, that's it for now. Much love.